After I had returned home from work the day before, my father greeted me with a statement that went something like this: "You'll never be a real man until you pay off my mortgage. Real men take care of their fathers." He then proceeded to place a bill for $14,500 on the table. When I laughed and responded, "Absolutely not," he raged. He added, "This is your debt for existing." I responded with, "Not at all." "Then you are extinct in my eyes." I answered, "Perfect. I was going to spend it with people who actually like me." As I was packing up and leaving, I forgot to say anything about something that I had left on the table. I said, "Don't show your face at Thanksgiving." When I called my aunt the following morning, she was crying. Currently, he is wailing on the ground. A package was located by him. His tears are uncontrollable. When I pick up the phone, they are pleading with me to do so. Would you kindly simply talk to him? In the event that you do not return home, he threatens to sell the house. I'm not sure if this is even the appropriate sub for this, but I just need to get this off my chest since this is crazy, even for my family. Not to mention, I'm still trembling a little bit. I have read a lot of those family drama stories on this website, and I have always thought, nah, people have got to be exaggerating. However, after last night, I realized that some people really do treat you like you are just a transaction regardless. Due to the fact that I had to take the long route back, I arrived home yesterday later than I normally would have. On our block, there was this stupid waterman thing that was there. It has been a week since half of the blocks were torn up, so I parked 2 streets down and walked to the other side. Almost immediately, I became aware that my father's vehicle is parked partially on the curb, which is always a warning sign. Only when he is in one of his moods, when he feels that everyone is out to get him and the city owes him a medal or whatever, does he park his vehicle in such a manner. To my surprise, I didn't even bother to take off my shoes before I heard him in the kitchen. Cabinets banging shut. To put this into perspective, my father has always been like this. Respect for one's elders is a basic tenet of the old-school immigrant attitude. Nevertheless, what he truly means is that you must do what I say or else you will be a letdown. I am the oldest, thus I am the one who bears the brunt of it. A little over 5 years ago, my sister Monica moved out, and she seldom ever communicates with him anymore. I usually hear him say that it's because I'm the son, so I have to take charge. On the other hand, his concept of stepping up is more like to taking care of anything that he does not wish to deal with. As a result of his refusal to use applications, he is dealing with a variety of issues, including technological issues, bills, and fixing things around the house. He claims that he has always been strangely obsessed with the concept that your children owe you for raising them, which is something that I have always thought was just a bit of a thing. But the night before last brought it to an entirely new level. That being said, I walk in while still wearing my jacket, and he is already sitting at the table with this folder. There is no greeting at all. I think you should just gesture me over like you're some kind of assistant. I had the impression that it was going to be about his phone plan or something, but in fact, it is not. In order to move it across the table, he takes out this piece of paper and slides it across. A closer inspection reveals that it is, in fact, an invoice. That is, a genuine invoice structured in an official manner. Debt for existence is what it says. Following that, the amount of $14,500 was owed for the mortgage payment. My first thought was that it was a prank. When I saw this, I couldn't help but chuckle aloud. This is done by who? However, he is not, in any way, laughing. He just leans in and begins to talk about how real men pay off their fathers and how I will never be a man if I don't take care of him. He says this for no apparent reason. He claims that he would give up everything. For now, it is my turn. There, I swear I came dangerously close to losing it. It has nothing to do with the money at all. He worded it in such a manner that made it sound like I was some kind of investment that was intended to pay off. He begins to rant, which is something that he does on a regular basis. But this time he is really going off the deep end, dropping stuff about how he worked 2 jobs. By the way, this is not true. First and foremost, my mother emphasized how much he is deserving of being cared for. In a straightforward manner, he asserts that this is my debt for existing, not only for residing in this location, but also for being born. I tell him, nah, I'm not going to pay that. Not a chance. Try me. He stands up so quickly that his chair tips, slams his fist on the table, and says, If I'm not going to pay, then I'm dead to him. He literally says, "Don't show your face at Thanksgiving. Don't come crawling back when you're broke." He has this look on his face that makes it appear as though he doesn't even recognize me. He tries to push past me in the hallway, bumps my shoulder hard, and then heads to his room, slams the door so hard that the picture frame in the corridor rattles. I just shake my head and say, "Cool. I'll spend Thanksgiving with people who actually like me." He then proceeds to throw the invoice at me, try to push past me, and then bump my shoulder. He is murmuring, but I am not even making an effort to listen to what he is saying. While I'm standing there holding this stupid invoice, all of a sudden I realize that I've finished everything. It's like, after all those years of playing along, cleaning his mistakes, paying for random things he forgot about, and covering his parking tickets, he never paid me back. Not a single time. It all seems to come to a sudden end. At that moment, I make the decision that I will not remain in his presence to serve as his personal ATM or his punching bag. I go upstairs and begin packing my essentials without even thinking about it. I just grab as many things as I can. Just a couple of clothing, my laptop, and my chargers. However, he does not emerge. I suppose he believed that I was only bluffing. The thing is as follows. I am aware that he keeps a record of every single small mistake that I make. Maintains his authority over me for all time, but acts as if what I do for him is nothing more than what sons do. If he is interested in playing this game, then I will participate in it as well. I take out an old notebook from my drawer and jot down all of the instances that I covered for him. I did this for the sole purpose of keeping track of it for myself, since I knew he would never admit it or admit it to anyone else. Things such as paying the energy bill when he forgot to do so. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I drove him to the airport. Since he did not accept the Uber, he was able to fix his email after he had given his password to a con artist. I pull the pages out of the book, place them in an envelope, then write in large letters on the front of the envelope, "Debt for favors that have already been collected." For the sake of amusement, I also include the real invoice that he handed to me in there. I make my way back down. Still residing in his chamber is he. Shut the door. I immediately positioned the envelope in the exact middle of the table. I do not make any statements. Never even bother to look around. All I do is collect my keys and my bag, and then I leave. Smash the door shut. Not bothered if it woke up the people that lived nearby. After I have arrived at my vehicle, I am still 2 blocks away from it. Many thanks, City. Over the past several minutes, my phone has already missed 3 calls from my aunt. I pay them no attention. Due to the fact that I am unable to sleep, I drive to my friend's house, crash on his couch, and look through my phone for the entirety of the night. I received another call from my aunt this morning, and this time she was crying. She makes the statement, "My dad's on the floor screaming, holding the envelope, won't stop crying. Says he's saying stuff like, 'I betrayed him. He has lost everything it was.' She begs me to pick up the phone, explaining that he is not going to eat and is not going to talk to anyone. She also claims that he is going to sell the house. My cousin sends me a text message informing me that the family group chat is going to explode. Half of them are blaming me, and the other half are saying that I finally did what they all wanted to do. To tell you the truth, I don't even know what's going to happen next. I'm angry, but I'm no longer afraid of him. If he wants to play hardball, I can play along with him. I'm not picking up the phone. I am done being the one who is responsible for paying for my existence. I have left something on that table that he is not going to forget. If he wants a debt war, he has one. We will update if this explodes. Update 1. Okay, so I didn't even sleep right after posting last night. I kept getting these random notifications, and to be honest, I was still trying to figure out if I was the one who was losing it. I was under the impression that I had overreacted, but I was wrong. This morning, I woke up on the couch of a friend. My phone was literally overheating from all the group chat dings. I had 3 missed calls from my aunt, 2 from my cousin, and approximately 12 unread messages from my father, all of which came within the span of an hour. The last one simply said, "Answer your family or you'll regret it." On the other hand, my cousin Carter sends me a strange text message in which he comments, "Dude, what the hell did you give him? He's in the living room on the floor, won't talk, just holding some envelope. Like, Aunt Mary is actually worried he's going to have a heart attack or something." And I'm just lying there thinking, for real? In exchange for a few pieces of paper and a healthy dose of reality. I make an effort to ignore it for a while, but then Monica calls, which she seldom does unless we are in a severe situation. She says something along the lines of, "You need to deal with this." Mummy is in tears. "According to your father, you have embarrassed him. He is making threats to sell the house," and I ask her, "So what?" "It is now my responsibility," she continues. "You are aware of how he behaves. This has always been the case with him. You just made it public." TBH, I wasn't even trying to drag the whole family into it, but they always end up in the middle. For context, my dad's whole respect thing comes from his own dad, who basically made him feel worthless unless he was providing something. He's always had this thing about being owed. Like, if he can't lord it over someone, he's not in control. That is the reason why he kept track of every little thing, every dollar, and every favor, but acted as if anything I did for him was just a son's job. It is not about the money, it is about power. Has always been about power. So, anyway, Aunt Mary shows up at my friend's apartment. She came because she tracked me on Snap Maps because I forgot to disable it. She knocks, arrives in a state of complete and utter tears and asks, "Can you just call him? He won't eat." He says, "You're trying to damage him." The neighbors heard him yelling. She's shaking, like really upset. And I kind of feel bad, but also just annoyed 'cause why is it always on me to fix his mess? I tell her, "Look, I'm not coming back. I will not be paying. And if he wants to be dramatic, he can do it without me." She becomes enraged, pushes my arm, and says, "You're just as stubborn as he is." I respond by saying, "Yeah, maybe that's why we don't get along." She then slams the door on her way out of the room. Not even 20 minutes later, my phone lights up again, and this time it's a group call. And then Aunt Mary starts talking about family and how we need to stick together, and then Carter is like, "Bro, you know he's going to actually sell the house, right?" Monica, Carter, Aunt Mary, and even my Uncle Elio are the only ones who kind of get it. Uncle is the only one who says, "Maybe your dad needs to learn that you're not a kid anymore." Here he is on Zillow. Previous to that, he had already called that real estate person from church. He is not fooling around. I just tell him, let him sell it. Move to Florida. IDC. I'm not going to pay his mortgage, and I'm not going to come back just because he's throwing a fit. Monica replies, "You're being cold." I respond by saying, "He's the one who said I was dead to him, remember? I'm just giving him what he wants." At this point, the entire family is divided. It is crazy that my grandmother calls me because she never calls me before. When I question her, "Does anyone care that he's been treating me like garbage for years?" she simply sighs and hangs up the phone. She replies, "You have to fix this. Your father is suffering." While this is going on, my father is sending me strange texts that include things like, "You are an embarrassment. You are ungrateful. I have provided you with everything." He sends me a picture of the empty envelope that I placed on the table, which contains the list of debts that I have written down. He says, "This are all lies." My friend is constantly saying things like, "Dude, this is getting nuts." I don't even respond to him because I'm trying to get some peace of mind. I block his number for a while just to have some peace of mind. However, I am unable to do so because Monica and Carter begin providing screenshots of the family group chat. At this point, everyone is arguing with each other, and my uncle is saying, perhaps it is time that someone stood up to him. My aunt has suggested that I should apologize. Monica has stated that we all want therapy, and my father has been posting random old images of me when I was a child with descriptions such as, "This is what betrayal looks like." I go for a walk, attempt to clear my thoughts, and receive a direct message from my dad's tenant. Yeah, he rents out the basement because he always needs extra income, but he never wants to confess it. The tenant writes, "Hey, has your dad lost it?" I swear that if there was a gold medal for emotional blackmail, he would win it. He attempted to charge me twice as much for the rent. Says you're not allowed on the property anymore. And he changed the Wi-Fi password. I just laugh like even the tenant's getting dragged in now. This is where I start to get really pissed. If he wants to make everything about money, fine. I text my cousin. Remember all the times I fixed his car for free? Set up his Wi-Fi. Handled all his bill pay accounts 'cause he couldn't figure out online banking. I am stopping everything. I go online and change every password that I made for him. I also cancel the auto-pays that I set up because I was sick of him overdrafting. I send a text message to the tenant, saying, "Good luck. You'll have to call him for everything now. It is no longer my problem." Aunt Mary calls once more and says, "You can't just leave him like this." My response is, "He's your dad. Remember that he was the one who kicked me out of the house. You don't get to kick someone out and then beg for help." She gets upset, says, "You'll regret this," and hangs up. So now the whole family is acting like I lit the home on fire, but all I did was finally stop being his doormat. My dad's threatening to sell. The tenant's threatening to move out. Monica is threatening to not show up for Thanksgiving if I don't make it. My grandmother is still of the opinion that I should fix everything. My uncle just texted me, saying, "Proud of you for finally standing up for yourself, but get ready. It's going to get worse before it gets better." To tell you the truth, I don't even care anymore. If he wants a war, he's got one. I'm not picking up the phone. And if he wants to make a big scene, I can play that game, too. Next step, I'm making sure he feels it where it hurts and not just in the wallet. Wheel update. This is nowhere near over. Update 2. So, I wasn't even going to post again yet, but stuff's just getting wilder. Honestly, I'm starting to see how far he'll spiral if I keep the pressure up. Angiel, if you thought the previous time was chaotic, you should buckle up. Yesterday, after all the calls and yelling, I finally get a minute to myself and just scroll through TikTok. I try to zone out, but I keep seeing family chats blowing up. Monica is texting me. Aunt Mary is calling again. Grandma left me a voicemail that consists of her breathing and then hanging up. My cousin Carter just sent me a meme of a dumpster fire, so at least someone is aware of it. Around noon, I notice something strange. The tenant who lives in my father's basement texts me again. She claims that she is unable to enter the house because the digital lock is not functioning properly and her father is not answering her calls. She is actually stuck outside with groceries. She asks me to change the code. I did not do it myself, but I did set it up for him so that I am familiar with how it operates. I kind of laugh like even his tenants are suffering now because he is unable to handle technology. I tell her to try the backup code, but she says that her father deleted her from the app. Now she is angry. Meanwhile, Monica keeps trying to get me to call him. She says that I am being cold, but in all honesty, he has been cold for the entirety of my life, so whatever. I text her. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. I remember all of the bill paying and random administrative tasks that I took care of for him. He never paid attention to me and just handed me envelopes and said, "Handle it." So, I begin making a list of everything that I need to take care of, including mortgage reminders, insurance stuff, and even his side hustles web hosting and email. After going through my inbox, I find that half of the messages are still using my contact information because he has never bothered to switch it over. I log in, change all of his passwords to nonsense strings, and set all of his email rules to forward to an old address that he is unable to access. I also cancel the autopay for the hosting service because I am aware that he will receive a late notice in about 2 days. Then I remember he's got this little rental thing on the side. Always cash under the table. Never full paperwork. I text the tenant back, tell her she'll need to call him for any issues. I'm not involved. She's not happy, but I'm done being the middleman. I figure, let him deal with the headaches. Now, the real kicker. He always made me do the taxes for all this 'cause he hates forms and gets aggressive if anyone tries to explain stuff to him. You'll need to hire someone this year, and I'm not going to touch any of your papers. I send him a message. He phones me twice, and I ignore him. Then he sends me a text message that says, "You'll regret this. I'm the one who managed your life for you, and you still tried to charge me for existing. You're nothing without me. I mean, buddy, I'm the one who got you through life." There is another group call that I receive about dinner time. It is from Monica, Uncle Almelio, and Carter. Uncle Almelio says, "You are going too far. What's going on with your dad?" "He hasn't eaten since yesterday," Monica says. "Just talk to him and put an end to it." Carter responds, "Nah, let him sweat. Elio begins to become agitated and screams, "You're humiliating your own father. Why are you acting so strange?" My response is, he was the one who initiated it. I will not save him from disaster. I'm not looking for sorry, I say. I'm not looking for it this time. Uncle slams the phone down. Monica sighs and hangs up. Carter just types, "He'll never say sorry. You know that, right? The only thing I want is for him to understand that I am no longer his backup plan." After that, the renter sends me a text message informing me that she would be leaving by the end of the month. It is stated that she is sick of the drama. The search for a new location has already begun. I relay the information to my aunt. I respond by saying, "No, he's doing that on his own." She then responds by saying, "You're destroying him." My grandmother then calls me once more. My response to her is, "Tell him to go ahead and sell the house. He says he can't live with the shame." She is indicating that her father is suggesting that he will sell the house. She hangs up the phone, saying, "Perhaps he will realize how much I did for him when he is forced to do everything by himself." On that particular evening, my father sends me a series of texts. Just a series of angry rants written in all capital letters. Various things concerning respect, betrayal, and how I am nothing. No, I do not respond. When I give him even the slightest bit of space, I am certain that he will turn it around and bring me back in. I make the decision to truly do it. Whenever I have rescued him or paid for anything that he has forgotten, I look through every old receipt, every transfer, and every other instance. I compiled everything into a Google sheet and then shared it with the family chat. I conclude by writing, "Since we're talking about debt, here's the running total of what I've covered since I was 18. Let me know if anyone else wants to add to the tab." Monica withdraws from the conversation. I am given a negative response from Aunt Mary. An instigator is what Uncle Almelio refers to me as. I just received a popcorn from Carter. Monica sends me a text message at approximately midnight. In an effort to get even with you, he is claiming that he will sign the house over to the neighbor. I respond by saying, "Let him. Maybe the neighbor will put up security cams so he can't keep pretending the world owes him something." Monica responds by saying, "You're being cruel." I just respond by saying, "Not as cruel as demanding your kid pay for existing." So yeah, if you're wondering whether I feel guilty, I don't really feel bad. He desired to make it about self-esteem and financial gain. As a result, I am making certain that he experiences everything that he had previously taken for granted. There is no additional cash or minute that he will receive. I am not going to pick up the phone here. Allow him to sell if that is what he wants to do. I had enough. The next update will be if he actually follows through with it, or if the family finds a way to make things even more complicated at this point. I wouldn't be shocked if he sought to remove me from the will or something like that. In any case, stay tuned for further updates. This is the final update. I was under the impression that I had experienced everything with my family, but I was wrong. It would appear that this saga has more levels. The past several days have been a complete and utter disaster. For example, it is not even the kind of drama that you can joke about later in the group chat because it is not even the good kind. Simply put, there are a lot of individuals harboring old grudges and acting as if this is the end of the world. I am still not picking up the phone, and now I am having members of my family showing up to my place of employment. My social media is exploding. The only thing I did was tell my father to pay his own mortgage for once, but you'd think I joined a cult instead. In any case, the peculiar thing is that it was so silent for a period of around half a day. Yesterday evening, Carter did not call, text, or send any memes to anyone. My first idea was that perhaps he had finally given up. Then, in the middle of the night, my aunt sends me a direct message. A screenshot of a group chat in which the father is yelling about selling the house is all that is involved. He claims that he will be phoning a real estate agent first thing in the morning. Says that he will be finished with his family and this city if I do not return home with him. The average amount of emojis depicting turmoil. To tell you the truth, I simply put my head down and went back to sleep. When you wake up, you find that you have missed approximately 6 calls. Grandma left a message on her voicemail, and Monica left a number of important messages. My mother is telling me that I need to get over myself. This father has not eaten, has not slept, and has not left the house in the past 2 days. She has informed me that she will come and fetch me if I do not respond. At approximately midday, I hear a tap on the door. I respond by saying, "You want to help him? Go ahead. I'm not his emotional support animal." Another time, it's Aunt Mary. I am seriously considering whether or not to change my locks at this time. Not only is she crying, but she is holding her phone in her hand. I tell her, he can do whatever he wants to do. He's not well. He says he'll sell the house to spite you. She pleads, "Please just talk to him. He's not well." She attempts to overcome me by saying, "I'm not going to come back." My arm is blocking the door from opening. When she becomes angry, she shoves me. I am merely standing there. Currently, she is yelling. The family is being torn apart by me, they say. As she is leaving, she slams the door behind her and says, "Perhaps if you all stopped enabling him, he wouldn't be like this." Next, Carter gives a call. The person says, "Dad is calling everyone he knows, including a guy from the neighborhood Facebook group who has been trying to buy the house cheap for years." The person also says, "Dad is trying to get rid of it fast just so I can learn a lesson." I ask Carter, "Do you think he will actually do it?" Carter goes, "TBH, I think he's lost it, but he's too stubborn to back down." I say, "Let him. You want to see what it's like when I'm not around to clean up the mess?" This is how you find out I get a group call from the family. Uncle Almelio, Monica, Aunt Mary, Grandma. It's just everyone talking over each other, blaming me, blaming Dad, blaming each other. Uncle says, "You should be the bigger man. You are aware of his personality. Just give him something," Monica adds. "You don't even care if he ends up homeless, do you?" Monica is referring to the matter. Grandma is uttering the words, "What happened to respect?" as Aunt Mary starts crying. I simply mute the conversation and sit there listening to them dispute. After that, I disconnect up. There comes a text message from my father that says, "You are dead to me for real. The house is going to be put up for sale today." I do not respond to the text. I go for a walk, get some coffee, and make an effort not to think about it. A part of me wonders if I'm being too harsh, but then I remember the invoice, the yelling, and the way he tried to make me pay for existing. Nah, I'm not going to give in later. Monica texts me that my father is packing up things in the living room, putting old photos in a box, and muttering about how nobody respects him. She says, "This is your last chance." He says that he will change the locks. "You are out of the will. All of it." I text her back, "Good. I don't want anything from him. Tell him to enjoy Florida or wherever he thinks he'll be happier." Frankly, the most peculiar aspect is that nobody in the family actually believes that he will go through with it, even though they are freaking out about it. Uncle Almelio claims that he has always been this way and that he will eventually get over it. Grandma claims that he will regret this. You will see. But to tell you the truth, I just feel numb to all of it. It is not about the house. It is about not letting him win by simply demanding that I roll over again. I receive a direct message from the tenant, who says that she is moving out for real. Says Dad's a nightmare to deal with now that I'm not handling stuff. She asks if I want any of the stuff I left in the basement. I tell her to toss it. I'm done with that house with all the baggage attached. So yeah, he might actually sell. Maybe he'll get ripped off. Maybe he'll end up alone. I don't really care anymore. I am not going to answer the phone. I am not going to pick up when they call. I am not going to show up for Thanksgiving or any of it. If the family wants to blame me, that is fine. Let them. I have been the one who has been holding everything together for years, and I am tired of it. The only real regret I have is that I did not do this sooner. He wanted a war, and he got it. If he wants to burn it all down just to prove a point, he can do it without me. Let him see what debt for existing really looks like when I'm not around to pay it. Guess that's it for now. If anything else wild happens, maybe I'll update. But I'm not holding my breath. Thanks to the folks who actually get it. Sometimes you just got to let people lose so you can finally win something back for yourself.